Hello, friends. We're going to continue with the Tale of Despereaux. Chapter 27, A Wish. That night, in the small, dark hut that she shared with Uncle and the sheep, Mig tried to speak of what she had seen. "Uncle," she said, "eh? I saw some human stars today." "How's that?" "I saw them all glittering and glowing, and there was a little princess wearing her own crown and riding on a white little tip-toed horse." "What are ye going on about?" said Uncle. "I saw a king and a queen and an itsy-bitsy princess," shouted King. "So?" shouted Uncle back. "I would like," Mig said shyly. "I wish to be one of them princesses." "Ha!" said Uncle. "Ha! You ugly dumb thing! Like you ain't worth the enormous lot I paid for. Don't I wish every night that I had that good hen and that red tablecloth back in your place?" He did not wait for Mig to guess the answer to this question. "I do! I wish it every night. That tablecloth was the color of blood, and that hen could lay some good eggs like nobody's business." "I want to be a princess," said Mig. "I want to wear a crown." "A crown?" laughed Uncle. "She wants to wear a crown." He laughed harder. He took the empty kettle and put it on top of his head. "Look at me," he said. "I'm a king. See my crown? I'm a king just like I always wanted to be because I said I wanted to be one." He danced around the hut with the kettle on his head. He laughed until he cried, and then he stopped dancing and took the kettle from his head and looked at Mig and said, "Do ye want a good clap to the ear for such nonsense?" "No, thank you, Uncle," said Mig. But she got one anyway. "Look here," said Uncle after the clout had been delivered. "We will hear no more talk of princesses. Besides, whoever asked you what you wanted in this world, girl?" And the answer to that, readers, as we all know, was absolutely no one. Chapter 28, To the Castle. Years passed, and Mig spent them scrubbing the kettle and tending to the sheep and cleaning the hut and collecting an innumerable, uncountable, extremely painful clouts to the ear. In the evening, spring or winter, summer or fall, Mig stood in the field as the sun was setting, hoping that the royal family would pass before her again. "Gore, I would like to see that little princess another time, wouldn't I? And her little pony too on his tiptoey feet." This hope, this wish, that she would one day again see the princess was lodged deep into Mig's heart, lodged firmly right in that hope that she, Miggery Sow, would someday become a princess herself. The first of Mig's wishes was granted in a roundabout way when King Philip outlawed soup. The king's men were sent out to deliver the grim news and to collect from the people of the kingdom of Dor their kettles, their spoons, and their bowls. Readers, as you now exactly know how and why this law came to pass, so you would not be as surprised as Uncle was when one Sunday a soldier of the king knocked on the door of the hut that Mig and Uncle and the sheep shared and announced that soup was against the law. "How's that?" said Uncle. "By royal order of the King Philip," repeated the soldier, "I am here sent to tell you that the soup has been outlawed by, and in the kingdom of Dor, you will, by the order of the king, never again consume soup, nor will you think of it or talk about it, and I, as one of the king's loyal servants, am here to take from you your spoons, your kettle, and your bowls." "That can't be," shouted Uncle. "Nevertheless, it is." "What do we eat? What will we eat with?" "Cake," suggested the soldier, "with a fork." And wouldn't that be lovely, said Uncle, if we all could afford to eat cake? The soldier shrugged. I am only doing my duty. Please hand over your spoons and your bowls and your kettle. Uncle grabbed hold of his beard. He let go of his beard and grabbed his hair instead. Unbelievable, he shouted. I suppose next the king will be wanting my sheep and my girl, seeing that those are the only possessions I have left. Do you own a girl? Asked the soldier. I do, said Uncle. A worthless one as is, but she still is mine. Ah, said the soldier, that, I am afraid, is against the law too. No human may own another human in the kingdom of Dor. But I paid for her fair and square by a good laying hen and a handful of cigarettes and a blood-red cloth. No matter, said the soldier. It is against the law to own another. Now you will have to hand it over to me. All of it. If you please, your spoons, your bowls, your kettle, and your girl. Or, if you choose not to hand over those things, then you will come with me to be imprisoned in the castle's dungeon. Which will it be? And that is how Miggery Sow came to be sitting in a wagon full of soup-related items next to the soldier of a king. Do you have parents? Asked the soldier. I will return you to them. Huh? A mother, shouted the king. Dead, said Midge. Your papa? Asked the soldier. He ain't seen me since he sold me. Right, I'll take you to the castle then. Go? Said Midge, looking around confused. You want me to paddle? To the castle, shouted the soldier. I'll take you to the castle. The castle? Where the itsy-bitsy princess lives? That's right. Go, said Mig. I aim to be a princess someday too. That's a fine dream, said the soldier. He clucked the horse and tapped the reins, and off they took. I'm happy to be going, Mig said, putting a hand up and gently touching one of her cauliflowered ears. Might just as well be happy, seeing it doesn't matter. Make one difference to anyone if you are or not, said the soldier. We will take you to the castle, and they will set you up fine. You will no longer be a slave. You will be a paid servant. Huh? Said Mig. You will be a servant, shouted the soldier, not a slave. Go, Mig said, satisfying. A servant I will be, and not a slave. She was 12 years old. Her mother was dead. Her father had sold her. Her uncle, who wasn't really her uncle at all, had clouted her until she was almost deaf. She wanted more than anything in the world to be a little princess, wearing a golden crown and riding on a high-stepping white horse. Readers, do you think it is a terrible thing to hope when really there is no hope at all? Or is it, as the soldier said about happiness, something that you might just as well do, since in the end, it really makes no difference to anyone but you? Chapter 29. Start with a curtsy, end with the thread. Miggery Sow's luck continued. On her first day on the job as a castle servant, she was sent to deliver a spool of red thread to the princess. Mind, said the head of the serving staff, a woman named Louise. She is royalty, and you must make sure you curtsy. How's that? Shouted Mig. You must curtsy, shouted Louise. Go, yes, ma'am. She took the spool of thread from Louise and made her way up the golden stairs to the princess's room, talking to herself as she went. Here I am, off to see the princess, me, Miggery Sow, seeing the princess up close and personal like. And first off, I must curtsy, 'cause she's royalty. At the door of the princess's room, Mig had a sudden crisis of confidence. She stood for a moment, clutching the spool of thread and muttering to herself. "Oh, now how's that go?" she said. "Give the princess the thread, and then give her a curtsy. No, no, no. First the curtsy, then the thread. Go, that's right, that's it. In that order. Start with the curtsy and finish with the thread." She knocked on the princess's door. "Enter," said the pea. Mig, hearing nothing, of course, knocked again. "Enter," said the pea. And Mig, still hearing nothing, knocked yet again. "Maybe," she said to herself, "the princess ain't home." But then the door flung wide open, and there was the princess herself, staring right at Miggery Sow. "Go," Mig said with her mouth hanging open. "Hello," said the pea. "Are you the new serving maid? Have you brought me my thread?" "Curtsy I must," shouted Mig. She gathered her skirt, dropped the spool of thread, stuck out a foot, stepped on the spool of thread, rocked back and forth what seemed for quite a long time, both watching the princess and the rocking Mig, and finally fell to the floor in a Miggish thud. "Whoopsie," said Miggery Sow. The pea couldn't help herself. She laughed. "That's all right," she said to Mig, shaking her head. "In the spirit of things, that counts." "How's that?" shouted Mig. "In the spirit of things, that counts," says the princess. "Thank you, miss," said Mig. She slowly got to her feet. She looked at the princess. She looked at the floor. First the curtsy, then the thread," Mig muttered. "Pardon?" said Pea. "Go, the thread!" She dropped to her hands and knees to locate the spool of thread. When she found it, she stood back up and offered it to Pea. "I bought you the thread, didn't I?" Here's Mig. Whoopsie. A spool of thread flung over her head, about to land on her bottom. "Lovely," said the princess as she took the thread from Mig. "Thank you so much. I cannot seem to hold on to a spool of red thread. Every one I have disappears somehow." "Are you making a thing?" asked Mig, squinting at the cloth in the pea's hand. "I'm making the history of the world my world," said Pea. "In tapestry, see? Here is my father, the king, and he is playing the guitar because that is something he loves to do and does it quite well. And here is my mother, the queen. She's eating soup because she loves soup." "Go, soup! It's against the law!" "Yes," said the princess. "My father outlawed it because my mother died while she was eating it." "Your ma's dead?" "Yes," said the pea. "She died just last month." She bit her bottom lip to stop it from trembling. "Ain't that a thing?" said Mig. "My mom's dead too." "How old were you when she died?" "Bold I was," taking a step back. I'm sorry. No. How old? How old were you?" shouted the pea. "Not but 6, said Mig. "Oh, I'm sorry," said the princess, and she gave Mig a quick, deep look of sympathy. "How old are you now?" 12 years. "So am I," said the princess. "We're the same age. What's your name?" she shouted. Miggery Sow, but most just call me Mig. I saw you once before, princess. You passed by me on a little white horse. It was my birthday, it was, and I was in the field with Uncle Sheep, and it was sunset time." "Did I wave to you?" asked the princess. "Huh?" "Did I wave?" shouted the pea. "Yes," nodded Mig. "But you didn't wave back," said the princess. Oh, I did, but you only didn't see it. Someday I will sit on a white horse and wear a crown and wave someday," said Mig, and she put her hand up to touch her left ear. "I will be a princess too." "Really?" said the pea, and she gave Mig another quick, deep look, but said nothing else. When Mig finally made her way back down the golden stairs, Louise was waiting for her. "How long," she roared, did it take you to deliver that spool of thread to the princess?" "Too long?" Midge guessed. "That's right," said Louise, and she gave Mig a good clout to the ear. "You ain't destined to be one of our star servants. That's abundantly clear." "No, ma'am," said Mig. "That's all right, though, because I am to be a princess." "You, a princess? Don't make me laugh." And readers, this was a little joke on Louise's part, as she was not a person who ever laughed, ever. Not even at the notion of something as ridiculous as Miggery Sow becoming a princess. We'll stop here for today.